Hello, my name is Robin Ashby and I'm one of the Embarcadero licensing specialists at Grey Matter. Today, I'm going to be speaking with Stephen Ball, Worldwide Pre-Sales Director at Embarcadero, to help you gain insight into one of their products, InterBase. Hello, Stephen.
Hi, Robin. Nice to be here today.
Thanks for joining us. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is InterBase?
Yeah, sure. So InterBase is an award-winning relational database. It's available for Windows, Mac, Linux, iOS, and Android. It comes with an ultra-small footprint, zero admin. It's got embedded role-based user security. It's got great granular encryption capabilities to secure your data at rest, even with the strongest compliance regulations, and offers rapid development. With a single on-disk format that works across all the platforms, it makes it very easy to use across the development cycle. You have one file format that you can work with between production and development, and which makes it a dream to use.
Well, thanks for that. It's a really good insight into the product. So, who should be using InterBase and why?
Well, traditionally, InterBase has been used around the world by a lot of ISVs. Looking to control the total cost of ownership of their solutions, developing with Visual Studio, Delphi, C++ Builder, within RAD Studio. InterBase is exceptionally robust. It makes it ideal for embedding into systems that run remotely when you don't have a full-time DBA on site. And in fact, I used to be an ISV for InterBase, and for me, I used to take about 30 minutes to get a support person trained with everything they needed to know to be able to manage any support calls that came through regarding InterBase. Recently, however, one of the things that we've seen a lot more of is InterBase being used inside enterprise solutions as part of the kind of whole heterogeneous infrastructure. And this in part has been thanks to the IoT Award-winning Change Views feature, which adds some really kind of cool capabilities around scaling changes. Also, we've seen a big uptake on the mobile side because InterBase can be used across iOS and Android as well to secure data.
Thanks for that, Stephen. Could you tell us more about the IoT Award that InterBase won?
Yeah, certainly. I think probably the best thing is if I just explain it. So imagine being able to run your standard SQL statement. You get your data from your database. But instead of just getting all the data, imagine being able to run the same statement again and just get at a field level what has changed since you last requested the data. In its essence, that's change views. It's highly scalable in the way that it's been put together. It's completely logless. It's really easy to administer. You don't have all these extra triggers and stuff that you need to put in for traditional kind of replication logging technologies. So it has near zero performance and overhead on the database. And it's the ability to track the changes and enable personalized updates to any subscriber to the change view is the key that behind it winning the most innovative use of data award at the Total Telco Awards a few years back. So from a developer's perspective, you can just develop your app. You don't need to worry about how you're going to be tracking changes. You can just do it with local data storage, get the speed and performance of having local data within your application, and then worry about getting the delta and pushing that delta back later on. There's no extra redundant fields to worry about or manage or have to deal with. It just makes it a dream in terms of tracking changes. It's also kind of quite cool the other way around. Rather than just having to worry about tracking changes locally to push back to a remote server, you can do it from the server as well to be able to push the deltas back out to the remote clients, which is amazing for helping keep local data on devices up to date, and to give you that additional speed and performance that the users are expecting today.
Sounds really useful. So when you say a large number of remote devices, could you tell us more about the change view scaling?
Yeah, so well, we've seen tens of thousands of remote devices being subscribed to from a single database with some of our customers. And in fact, one of the customers that we've seen that with was a pharmacy chain, and they had Microsoft SQL Server as a core part of their infrastructure at their head office. They're part of their main system. And what they were able to do was to mirror a few of the key drug information tables into InterBase, and then have the remote clients connect to the InterBase database to fetch the deltas that they're requiring of the drug information to keep up to date. And this is something that they'd failed to be able to do with the with SQL Server, because of just the general factors that you kind of run into when trying to scale large amounts of data out to different destinations. But with change views, they're able to just do it, mirror it directly in, without having to change any of their core infrastructure, and add that capability in quite effectively.
Obviously, InterBase is used across a wide range of industries. What are your favourite stories about InterBase and why?
Yeah, so I've been around InterBase for quite a few years. I was also as kind of product manager for a while, and you kind of get some insight to some really kind of cool stories that come through. And I think one of my favourite ones is, obviously, there's a copy of InterBase on the Mars rover. So apparently it was a little bit hard to get a DBA out there for the mission. There was also a copy used in the space shuttle. All the cargo manifests were run through an InterBase database, which was pretty cool. A bit closer to Earth, we hear a huge number of different stories from the medical world. One of our largest ISVs, in fact, who uses Visual Studio for their InterBase work, does medical imaging equipment, and they've got bits in hospitals all the way around the world. And we also see kind of some really high scale throughput being done. We've got one organisation I was speaking to recently in Sweden who are processing 500,000 financial records for governmental organisations and large blue chips a day through their InterBase database, which is pretty cool.
Sounds amazing. And finally, is there anything else that you'd like to add about InterBase?
Yeah, so basically, in terms of picking it up, it doesn't matter if you've got one machine. We see so much of InterBase in kind of things like POS systems, but also scaling up to kind of the large deployments we've seen. It's ideal to pick up and go. And we've just launched some new ADO.NET drivers as well, which now support the entity framework. So that's making it even easier for Visual Studio developers to connect in with. Additionally, we've just launched a new InterBase website, giving it its own kind of separate place within the Embarcadero family, and we love hearing kind of the projects that you're working on. So please, reach out to us and to our partners to engage with us and talk to us about the projects that you're planning. With so much experience around the product, we'd love to be able to help make sure you get the best out of what you're investing into.
That's really great. Thanks, Stephen. It was really insightful, particularly useful, the new .NET drivers. For those of you watching, head to our InterBase products for more insight and our blog to access more information about this great database tool. There you'll find demos, documentations and details on how you can get a free trial. In the meantime, if you do have any questions, please do reach out to our Embarcadero licensing team at Grey Matter. And thanks for watching, and thanks, Stephen.
Cheers, Robin.